Hello, am I audible? Can you check?
Yes, yes, yes. Audible.
Okay, 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 okay. The screen, is it visible to you, Mangesh?
Yes, yes, it's visible. No issues with the screen.
Okay, okay, thank you, thank you. Mangesh,
Yes.
if the attendance is below 20,
Mm-hmm.
uh, don't you think that we should maybe cancel or postpone it?
Let's see for some time because it's
O-
market hours basically. So let's see for 10 minutes and all
Okay,
how many people join and then we'll see what
okay,
to do.
fair enough, fair enough. You let me know then. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Hi guys, welcome. We are just waiting for more 5 minutes so that people can join in. So just wait for 5 minutes and we'll just then proceed for our session. We'll just wait for 5 minutes, guys. Okay, so we'll start by around 3 5, and uh, we're just waiting for people to join in. Okay, Mangesh ji,
Yes,
should we start?
yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we have roughly around uh, you know few participants today, maybe because the market is functioning right now, and so we are not able to get that kind of participation. But any which ways, I have already prepared some good stuff for you guys. So we'll start, and hopefully people will join in as and when we progress. So today we are going to start with our intermarket analysis. Now, when I talk about intermarket analysis, that means we have to compare two different asset classes, and based on that, we have to just hold on. Am I audible to you guys? Mangesh ji, am I audible? Mangesh ji, hello, hello, Mangesh ji, hello. Okay, okay. So I am audible to you, right? Okay, fair enough. Okay, so when I talk about intermarket analysis, that means that there are two different asset classes or two different markets where you have to in compare in the chart, and then you have to make out that how or which possible asset class is going to be the front runner, and which other asset class is not going to perform well. So these are the two ways in identifying this is the only way in identifying that how a particular asset class can function in comparison with the other. So let me now share the screen with you and make you understand that how we can actually hope this screen is visible to you. So this is intermarket analysis, and let us understand what is an intermarket analysis, which is a method of analyzing markets by examining the correlation between different asset classes. The most widely accepted correlation is the inverse correlation between stock price and the interest rates, which postulates that as interest rates go up, stock prices go lower, and conversely, as interest rates go down, stock prices goes up. Now, like I said, there are different asset classes, and we have to understand the correlation between these two different asset classes. Say, for example, if I take gold, okay, and if I take dollar index, what do you think? What will be the correlation? The correlation definitely is a negative correlation. That means whenever a dollar index or US dollar will go higher, gold and silver will falter. The bullions will falter, the gold will falter. That means it will fall down. Okay. This is the inverse relation between gold and dollar index. The reason being is dollar index will actually show you the strength of the economy. Okay. So whenever the data which comes in from the market, which related to the employment data, NFP numbers, unemployment claims, housing data, new building permits, all these data which shows you a positive strength. That means that this is actually strengthening the economy, and on that basis, we will see that the dollar index will start going up. Conversely, if the dollar index goes up, gold, which is a safe haven buying, will definitely go down because all the money will be pulled out from gold and then it will be converted into, it will be gone into dollar. So that is the primary reason why an inverse relation between the dollar index and gold has always been a great in diversifying the portfolio. So obviously, when I talk about correlation, so there are two types of correlation. One is positive and other is negative. So when I talk about the positive correlation, just hold on. I hope uh, uh, I'm audible to you, right? Because I'm not getting any kind of
Yes, audible, audible.
okay. So so a simple correlation study is the easiest type of intermarket analysis to perform, where results range from -1, which is a perfect negative correlation, to +1, which is perfect positive correlation. See, the most difficulty in diversifying the portfolio is when you see that the two asset classes are positively correlated. Now, when I talk about positively correlated, that means that the two asset class which you feel that you want to invest into it will move in tandem or maybe in sync with each other, then there will be a problem. How? I'll tell you. Say, for example, you have a particular stock in mind, which is ITC, or let it be HUL, Hindustan Unilever, for example. Okay, you have Hindustan Unilever with you, say 5,000 units, that is 5,000 shares, and also at the same time you buy another FMCG stock, okay, which is Britannia, for example. Now you have heavily invested in these two stocks heavily. You have 5,000 per shares of this particular two companies. Suddenly, you see COVID-19 coming up or surging in the cases, which makes the supply of the stocks, which is biscuits and other stuffs that these two companies make. Uh, the supply has been stopped. There is no sales, and the quarterly results comes very bad of these two companies. So that these two companies will be hit, and the shares, the revenue will be hit, and the share prices will have to take the repercussions. So if that happens, that means the 10,000 shares that you hold for these two companies will falter. Imagine if you have only 5,000 shares of Britannia, and on the other hand, you have say 5,000 shares of Eicher Motors, say for example. Okay, now COVID-19 comes back. This is the case of 2020, and let me explain you how it is. So uh, you have 5,000 shares of Britannia and you have 5,000 shares of Eicher Motors. Your portfolio is something situated like this way. Britannia stocks has been hit because the revenue has reduced drastically. On the other hand, the two-wheeler sector has been gone up because of the lockdown, stringent lockdown, and there is no public transport. People have started buying two-wheelers, and that in that case, Eicher Motors has given a fabulous returns. That means the production as well as the sales has gone up tremendously. So the repercussions will be definitely seen on the stocks. Obviously, the stock prices of the Eicher Motors will rise up. So the loss that you are supposedly to make in Britannia will be covered up by Eicher Motors because it has gone up. Okay, so there will be a minimization of loss in a portfolio. So this is the best correlation. So out of the two, best correlation is negative correlation because it helps to diversify the portfolio. In other words, gold and equities are inversely related. Gold is a safe haven, so diversification will help to minimize the loss in entire portfolio. I hope this is really very clear to you. This is something which is very important when you talk about gold, when you talk about silver. Now we are going to start with the visually how to place the correlation between these two asset classes. So let me first come up with the best of the asset positive correlation of crude and Nifty. This is a weekly chart. I have placed two uh, charts. One is your Nifty, which is a blue line, and other is your crude, which is purple line. Now this is a weekly chart, and if you see that once we were hit by the COVID-19 last year, from there onwards, prices have gone up in past 1.5 years. Similarly, once crude has gone below the zero mark and entered the negative territory, Thereafter, it has started moving higher. Now the reasons can be anything. Okay, the reasons can be anything, whether it is the demand, whether it is supply, whatever. But see the way both of these two asset classes have moved in sync with each other or in tandem with each other. Both of them have gone up, both of them have rallied tremendously. And still there is no way crude prices are going down despite of the supply, despite of uh, the OPEC plus and its allies have come up with a statement saying that they will increase the supply. We have seen prices coming down from 5,700 to 5,300, but again it has gone up tremendously higher. Similarly, Nifty is also not coming down. It is continuously going higher. And if you see here, there is no way there is a divergence between the two asset classes. Both the asset classes are moving in sync with each other. This is a perfect example of a positive correlated market. So whenever if you see that you don't know what is the trend of the market, what is the trend of Nifty, what you can do is you can easily place this chart upon, that is a crude oil chart, and you can see what is happening. Or if you don't understand what is happening, actually Nifty takes cues from crude. Crude does not take cues from Nifty. So it is all about the Nifty, which is the the benchmark, which where the Nifty takes the cues from. So this is how you can place it. If you see previously also crude was quite sideways, Nifty also was sideways, then both of them fell heavily, and again it has gone up together. Both of them has gone up amazingly well. This is the best chart I can offer you to just understand the positive correlation of Nifty and crude oil. Okay. Now, secondly, let us see the positive correlation of USD/INR and gold. When I talk about USD/INR and gold, the gold has to be MCX gold. Okay. Here also, if you see, both are positively correlated. Obviously, there is some percentage change. I have not taken it properly. No, both are percentage. So obviously, the access has been a problem. But if you see, both of them earlier has moved up, then there was sideways consolidation, again it has gone up, and right now both of them are somewhere below its previous high. So both are positively correlated. Now remember earlier what we have seen, or I have discussed, that DXY and gold moves in opposite direction. That is for the US market. When I talk about the domestic, that is Indian market, we are seeing that USD/INR and gold will always move in positive correlation. There will not be any negative correlation between USD/INR and the MCX gold. There will always be. So whenever USD/INR will go up, gold either will go up or will remain sideways, depending upon what is the global cues or the COMEX gold functioning. Similarly, if you see that gold has gone down tremendously in COMEX, that is in US market. Okay. And here in India, USD/INR somehow down the line is very strong. So gold, on the other hand, will not be falling that much and in comparison with what in US market has happened. So all these things are very much important when you use correlation amongst all these sectors. It is something which is very, very, very important and unique way of understanding the market behavior of different asset classes. I can offer you this. This is something which is very, very, very important. And I want you to also practice this at home. So once you get this knack of it, you will be definitely in a much better position in understanding or maybe forecasting the future prices of particular asset class. I hope this is very clear to you. Okay. So now let's move forward with another example of negative correlation. Now, like I have earlier explained about the positive correlation of USD/INR and gold, here I am coming up with gold and DXY. Now, when I talk about DXY, then the gold has to be the COMEX gold and not the MCX gold. Okay. See, there is a negative correlation in this both the asset classes. It is very, very, very clear. And so the best way to correlate the two asset classes is to overlay one on the other asset class on the chart. This will give you a clear picture of how these two have divergence in comparison with what we have earlier seen in crude and Nifty and in USD and gold. see how gold and DXY move away from each other. So the blue line is the gold and the purple line is the DXY. So here, if you see, the previous high is not been crossed by gold, and the year in DXY already it has gone to a multi-month high, that is 3.5-month high. So this is how you can use negative correlation, understanding how it works. So needless to say, once I am done with this presentation, we can have a question answer sessions, and so that we can understand this properly, and hope you can also understand this webinar correctly. Now this is on something which I want to show it to you. With this is the negative correlation of US interest rates and US equities. Now we all know what has happened in the subprime crisis. We all know that how much money people have lost globally in equities. Now interest rates, if you see the red line is the interest rates which has gone to nearly zero. And if you see the black line, which is S&P 500, which has gone to multi-year, it's an all-time high, record high, I would say. So if you see the interest rates from the record high has come down to zero, how is this possible that the US equities have gone up to a record high when the interest rate was zero? This answer is very simple. Imagine that you keep your money in a bank which barely pays you interest. What will you do? You will pull out the money and you will invest in the equities, because equities will give you far more return than the banks. This is exactly the case what has happened in the US at the subprime crisis. So when the subprime crisis, before the subprime crisis, the interest rates were at a multi-year high. Okay, and once there was an understanding by the Fed that market is in a bubble, so they started reducing the interest rates. And at that time, in 2008, we have witnessed the subprime crisis, where the equities have a crash, and so as the interest rates which started falling. And after that, when it went to zero, US equities were at all-time high, and the US economy was not on that particular level. It is still not on that particular level, and they are still facing a problem of hiking the interest rates. Imagine, it's been almost 13 years and the US economy is still not on its feet. There is still doldrums going on in the economy. And so one of the cases for US equities or the global equities of not coming down is because the interest rate hikes is not the interest rates has not been hiked by the Fed. That is one reason. The second reason is that we have the COVID-19 variants coming in, which is one of the primary reasons why gold is also not coming down because of that. And so dollar index, which gauges the economy of US, faces the problem of going up, because the money has been put in, more money has been put in gold rather than in dollar. So this is one of the reasons why US economy, the interest rates has gone down and US equities has gone up. This is US. Now let me talk about ECB, that is the European Union. And if you know, in Europe, the banks, if you put your money into the banks, they will deduct the money and they will give it to you. There is no interest. There is a minus. There is actually deduction in the money that you save it. So the criteria, the agenda for the European Union is that you should not keep your money into the bank. You should start spending it. That is the agenda, and that is the primary reason why they have come up with the negative interest rates. Okay, so if you put 1 lakh rupees, you will get 90,000 at the end of the year, or something like that. Okay, but obviously not the entire amount, or not the principal plus the interest. Your principal amount will be deducted. So that is the reason why they have already encouraged people to spend, so that the spending goes up. Similarly, if the spending goes up, the inflation will go up, and if the inflation goes up, they will reduce their bond purchasing. Unfortunately, I think Europe will continue to do so in next 10 years also. So today we have the ECB meeting, and today we are going to get some cues from them also. But then I'm expecting that more 10 years will happen for Euro. I am skeptical for US, but then we'll see what happens next. Anyways, this is something which I wanted to show it to you, how I wanted to explain to you that how intermarket analysis can actually help you in gauging particular asset classes depending upon which way they will go. Needless to say, this is my contact number, this is my email address. If you have any queries, you can directly contact me and get yourself presentable to me. If you have any queries, please let me know, because we are on the verge to complete the session. We have 5 minutes left, and we can, I'm very sure we can easily, explain, easily get in the questions that you can offer me or shoot to me. Any questions that you have? Anyone, any questions? Feel free to ask. Feel free to ask, please. It'll be fun. Okay, I got a question, and that is, does European market affect our economic market? Okay, so well, the European market does not affect our market at all. Okay, see, like I said, every domestic market has its own pros and cons. So there is a lot of problems, because there is a single currency, as you know, where 19 countries are have to exchange that particular currency. So if I talk about Europe, there are like more than 20 countries. Out of that, 19 countries uses the single currency, which is euro. All the countries, there are only 3 countries which gives a robust picture about the economy. The first is Germany, the second is France, and the third is Spain. These 3 countries are one of the major countries which shows robust picture of the European Union. Okay, so apart from that, if you see Greece is more about tourism. If you talk about other small, that is Yugoslavia, Czech Republic, whatever, and more, they does not. I mean, I would say they are not in a perfect shape as a country, as an economy, and so most of the percentage of the growth, it depends upon the first 3 countries, that is Germany, then France, and then Spain. So however, in India, if you see, India as a whole country has performed amazingly well over the time. We have RBI also, which ensures that there is no a steep depreciation of US dollar. If that happens, then obviously the equities will crash. So and today we have more than 60 billion US dollars now as our reserves. So this also has to be taken into consideration, that how India as a country has progressed over the time, and how Europe as a country has progressed over the time. So again, you can actually compare the both of them. The interest rates there is negative. We have interest rates which is around 5 to 6%. Obviously, if you go to a bank, the returns on the FDs that we have is around 5 to 6% annually. But there is negative. So all these things will actually give you a clear picture that India is doing far more better than Europe. The only thing is that the euro as a currency is expensive than dollar. It is expensive than dollar, and so the problem with us is we cannot match them, because our imports are way too higher. When it talks about gold, when it talks about crude, our surplus deficit, we are into a surplus deficit. So this is a problem. So I believe that once we start coming up with the electric cars, and the usage of crude has gone, if it goes down reasonably, then I think 5 trillion economy of what we are expecting uh, is not too far. Maybe we can achieve by 2030, 2035. This is something which I believe in. Okay. So we need to look at crude prices at the morning 9 a.m. before analyzing Nifty trend. No, it's not like that. I'm sorry to say, say that it is not like that. That you have to see what is going to happen in crude oil and then you can see the trend. No, see the trend of crude and the trend of Nifty. I'm very sure that it is a positively correlated market, but that does not mean that आज crude ऊपर है तो Nifty भी ऊपर होगा और आज crude नीचे है तो Nifty भी नीचे होगा. It's not like that. It's not you know like कि भाई इसी तरह से हमें काम करना है, इस तरह से काम नहीं करना है, but we can understand the trend. So say for example, if both the markets are giving you higher highs and higher lows for 1-2 weeks, then you can easily say that नहीं चलो market अभी Nifty ऊपर रहेगा because crude is showing strength. Okay, so daily analysis नहीं करना है, hourly analysis नहीं करना है, वीकली एनालिसिस करोगे तो थोड़ा प्रॉफिट में आ सकते हो. ठीक है. Okay, dollar index and USD INR is of same way. It has, the correlation between the both of them is very much similar because ultimately USD INR takes cues from dollar only. Okay, so yes, there is some intervention which happens by RBI because we are in currencies we have three different types of currencies. One is pegged currency. The second is partially intervened by the central banks, and the third is the free floating currencies, which is dollar index. Okay, so here in India we have partially been intervened by RBI, and so if dollar continues to go higher, say 92 से 100 हो गया, तो USD ना इतना ऊपर नहीं जाएगा, वो जाएगा ऊपर, but it will not go that much. The reason being is because of the RBI coming in. It will intervene, it will sell their reserves. Like I said, 60 billion USD है, तो ऊपर आके वहां पे sell कर देंगे. Okay, because ultimately that will also affect our importers, which they don't want. So this is how they act on. Okay. So this is something which I also really enjoyed because you have so much amazing questions and queries that I even enjoy answering to them. I hope whatever I've told you today is being understood by you, and also I have done justice to this webinar. Any more questions? If you have, please share it across. Okay, so fair enough. I don't have any further questions. Mangesh ji will close it for today. Okay, I have a question. Okay, so yes, one thing we want, can you take one webinar on how to take a trade on commodity? Oh, sure. I will see in commodity, obviously I have shown a lot of patterns. I don't know if you have been part of that webinar also, but if you take these patterns into consideration, if you mix the technicals along with the fundamentals, that will be very easy for you to come up with a conclusion. But again, if you said, if you have, if you want, I can give it to you. You can call me on my number and we can discuss on these things that you have. I have already discussed this earlier also, but if you want, I can, we can have a word over the phone. And if I get an opportunity that what is going to happen, then definitely I will share it with another webinar and come up with that. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in and filling this. Okay, so we have another. Okay. Puneet ji, if you can call me, it will be great. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. We'll meet next week and we'll come up with another webinar, another interesting webinar for you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.